2:11 is the time. Now time to welcome our second special guest of the day, Alyssa DeFazio. She's a grad student and a health promotions intern at the Health Center. Alyssa, welcome to the show.
Hi, welcome. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure to have you here. Always like working with the fine folks over at the Health Center and sharing the great information that they have, keeping us healthy and on point. Now, of course, this is a busy month because we have St. Patty's Day today. Mm-hmm. Easter's early this year. That's coming up next week for people that celebrate Easter. And it's also National Nutrition Month.
Yes.
Trying to raise awareness about what we eat. So why are you guys focusing on the month of March, Alyssa?
Well, every year, March, I don't know why March was picked, but March seems to be the month where they focus on nutrition awareness and eating healthy and getting enough exercise and anything that has to do with trying to better yourself. March just seems to be that month, like many holidays where things happen. So I challenge all of you this month in honor of National Nutrition Month to pick one new healthy habit to focus on for the remainder of the month. It could be small, such as having an extra glass of water after having a meal instead of having a soda with your meal. It could be switching out white bread for wheat bread, or it could be something like snacking at night. I know I'm a big snacker. I tend to, have trouble with that at times. I always want to snack at night, but it's important to remember that it's not necessarily about when you're eating, it's about what you're eating too. So even if you do like to snack at night, try reaching for, a handful of nuts or carrots and celery with peanut butter instead of your average chips and pretzels and soda.
And I think you brought up a good point there a second ago, Alyssa. You were saying how, these don't, a lot of times people go into, trying to change their diet or their life, and they want to go head first and have all these plans, and then everything, falls apart, and they get, disgusted with it and just throw it all in the toilet. You're saying just like a little change, just doing one thing, like maybe dropping soda or drinking more water or stopping snacking can be a good help, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the easiest way to consume more vegetables? I mean, we talk about, trying to avoid, chips and dips and all that stuff, but, what's the easiest way to get some more good veggies in us?
Well, here's a couple of tips I'm going to share for you about eating more vegetables. Try to mix vegetables with your to-go dishes. So anytime you need a quick snack with you, if you're going to school, if you're going somewhere where you're going to need a snack, try to have something that you can mix a vegetable into. So a salad, have some vegetables in there, maybe throw some fruit, a handful of celery, peanut butter, and carrots. Try adding spinach when you make pasta or lasagna. You can make really good dishes with hiding a vegetable into it, and you can barely taste it, but you're still getting that nutrition from the vegetable. Or something even like having peppers in tacos. Or those of you who are Italian fans, which I am, you can even substitute spaghetti squash as noodles instead of using actual pasta when you're going to have spaghetti.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's actually very good, very nutritious, and you don't get all of those carbs as you would if you would eat the pasta noodles. Remember, when you're reaching for vegetables, you can use fresh, frozen, or canned. Just remember that they offer all the same great nutrients. Just be sure to watch your sodium levels if you're choosing canned vegetables, because they tend to have higher sodium. So you want to make sure you check that food label to make sure the sodium isn't too high.
I've heard some people say that fresh is better than cooking, like eating it raw is better than cooking it to death. Is that true?
Yeah, there's a lot of speculation today about, eating a raw diet and raw versus cooked.
Yeah. Do you have any opinions on that?
I think it kind of depends on your lifestyle and what works. If you, by all means, want to try more of a raw diet, there are some really good articles online that you can find out about eating raw. But you don't want to overcook your vegetable.
Sure.
Because when you overcook it And the more water you use to steam your vegetable, it's going to take out all the nutrients. So you want to try to cook your vegetable at a medium temperature, but you don't want to overcook it where it's soggy, because then it's really going to drain your nutrients out of the vegetable.
That makes sense.
Also, another easy thing you can do, you can make shakes. So
I love shakes.
Take spinach, take kale, throw in a banana and strawberries, maybe some protein powder if you want extra protein, and just blend all that together. And that tastes so much better than just, eating a kale salad for most people. Because if you drink it in a shake, you won't even necessarily taste that you're eating the vegetable as well.
Right.
And one other important thing I'm going to mention is remember that when you're eating your vegetables, to kind of eat the rainbow, if you will. The more variety of color that you have, the more nutrients that you're going to be getting. So the darker the vegetable, the healthier it's going to be.
Interesting.
If you have celery versus if you have a kale or spinach, yes, they're both good for you because they're vegetables, but the dark green, deep root color vegetables are really going to have high nutrients and even antioxidants in there to kind of help keep you going. So.
And it's one thing I like to do sometimes is to add peanut butter to my vegetables. Do you guys approve of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Some snacks, eating your vegetables with peanut butter, like I mentioned, carrots or celery. Or even a side of ranch, if you're just going to be snacking on raw carrots. Some people like to dip it in ranch or other vegetable dips. So there's a lot of different ways that you can consume your veggies and, watch what you eat.
So that obviously, so vegetables are multi-purpose. You can use them as a main course. You can use them as spaghetti if you wanted to, like you were saying. You can use them as snacks.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
What are some other ideas for eating healthy snacks that you can think of, Alyssa?
For healthy snacks, you want to try to keep fruits and vegetables within reach. Usually, like in your pantry, when I open my pantry, the first thing I see are pretzels. So that's normally what I'm going to typically go to. But if you keep fruits, especially fruits, if you keep fruits or dried nuts or dried fruit at a level of eyesight where you can see it, 90% of the time what you see is what you're going to grab.
Sure.
So keeping things in eye reach is a help. Another thing is pre-cut or have your vegetables, pre-cut and ready to go as a snack, because that takes less time than actually having to prepare it. If you're preparing your meals, your snacks, a couple days ahead of time, it's always good to have things pre-cut because that makes life easier. Know the difference between everyday snacks, such as fruits and veggies, versus your occasional snacks, such as cookies and other sweets. Again, that just goes to show everything within moderation. We're not saying you can't eat these things. You just have to be mindful about how often you're eating them, and make water a staple at snack time. If you're somebody that likes to snack, have water with you. It's better than drinking a soda. It's better than having a sugary drink. And if you add a slice of lemon or lime, you can actually enhance the flavor of water, and you can even make it taste like a little seltzer, if you will.
What's the recommended? I mean, we hear people, doctors, nutritionists arguing over the recommended amount of water per day. I know it has been in the past, 8 glasses a day? I mean, is that still accurate?
Yeah, more or less. I think that's still pretty accurate. They say a gallon is what you should go for in a day, in essence. But, most people, that's very hard to do, to drink a gallon of water. I mean, who wants to be running to the bathroom all the time?
Yeah.
But, it's just helpful. Like when I am on the go or on the run or when I'm at school, I like to have a bottle of water with me.
Yep, me too.
Because it's just an easy thing to drink instead of having a Coke or another sugary beverage.
What other kind of snacks are out there? I like nuts, like almonds and mixed nuts. Is that a good snack?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Almonds, cashews, any type of nuts, those are good. an apple or a slice of fruit, medium-sized piece of fruit. Sometimes with my apples, I like to dip them in peanut butter, so that tastes really good. Applesauce or yogurt, those are quick to go-to snacks. So, you can be creative, make it as simple as you want, or, you can find recipes on Pinterest or on other sites that can make, preparing snacks and meals really fun.
Cool. Now, we talked about snacks. We talked about drinking more water, vegetables, all that good stuff. A lot of people are focused on or spend a lot of time worrying about fat, salt, and sugar, which are valid concerns as well, too. What are some ways that we can reduce those three substances in our lives?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to fat, anytime you cook a meat, you want to make sure it's a lean meat. So you want to try to get the cut of meat that has the least amount of fat on it. When you cook that meat, try grilling it, baking, or you could roast your meat in some type of olive oil for flavor or a marinade instead of frying your meat. So that's one thing you can do differently. Switching out different oils. A lot of people use the Pam butter spray. Instead of using that, you can use coconut oil, you can use olive oil. There are a lot of different substitutes and different types of oils that you can use instead of butter to make your food with and, meats with and things like that. If you go out to eat, one thing that was always recommended to me, and it actually does help, if you get a big meal, eat half of it. Eat what you can. And then take the rest home. You can eat the rest for another meal. Also, when you're drinking beverages, a lot of people drink their sugars and they don't even realize they do that. So, again, just be mindful about how much you're drinking. Make water, obviously, again, a staple drink.
Yep.
Fat-free or low-fat milk is a good drink instead of soda or sweetened beverages. Coffee, tea, things like that.
I hear you keep coming back to that soda. That's definitely a big one. And I think that's the biggest offender or one of the biggest offenders for a lot of people.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, you're definitely right. And also, too, to kind of watch your fat, salt, and sugar intake, have fruits as a dessert, maybe. Like maybe baked apples and pears, fruit in a salad, things like that. To kind of watch your desserts. Make sure you read labels on packaged ingredients to find foods lower in sodium.
Read those labels, yep. Very important, yep.
And another startling fact I wanted to mention is sugar. Most people don't know, when you look at a food label, it says the sugar. If you look at where it says sugar, it'll say it in grams.
Yeah.
So however much the sugar is, say you're eating cookies and you have 2 cookies and the serving size per container is 2 cookies. So you're eating those 2 cookies. Those cookies have 25 grams of sugar. Well, 4 grams of sugar is actually equal to 1 teaspoon.
Okay.
So if you're getting 25 grams of sugar on that serving size, you're actually eating 6 teaspoons of sugar.
Wow.
In one day. So if you can kind of picture a teaspoon in your head, in the back of your mind, that's kind of the amount of sugar per serving is a teaspoon. And they want you to have no more.
It adds up, yeah.
Right. It adds up very, very quickly. And, nutritionists and dietitians and research that I've done want you to have no more than 25 grams of sugar in your diet per day.
Wow. Okay.
So as you can see, that's really hard to do because almost everything we eat has added sugar somewhere.
Right. So that's why it's good to follow those other suggestions that you made, like more fruits and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
What about the other big S word, salt? We all got to worry about salt too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Try skipping salt when you're cooking.
Okay.
Instead, try using herbs or spices to add the flavor. If you're making, baked apples, for an example, use cinnamon. If you're making chicken, instead of putting salt on the chicken, try throwing on some oregano and crushed garlic pepper or something like that to kind of enhance the flavor without using that added salt shaker.
Good stuff. Yeah. What about portion control? I mean, we've talked about, a lot of different things you can eat and avoid and not eat and drink, et cetera. But, I think a lot of it comes down to, the size of our portions as well, too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. One of the things that you can do to kind of help yourself eat less when you're trying to watch your weight is use a smaller plate. Because if I have...
One of those,
right?
So simple, yeah.
It's so simple, but it's true. Because if I have a 6-ounce plate as opposed to a 12-ounce plate, right? I'm going to put more on my 12-ounce plate because it's bigger.
Right.
So in essence, I'm going to eat more if I use the bigger plate. So if you use the smaller plate, eat what's on that plate and go by how you feel. Stop when you're full, eat when you're hungry. Go by your natural rhythm of what your body's trying to tell you. Some people eat so fast that they don't even know when they're full.
I'm a bit of an offender of that. Yeah, I agree.
So it's kind of important just to pay attention to your body, to know that when you're full, stop eating.
Because you can always save it for tomorrow,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
absolutely.
Put it in the refrigerator and save it for tomorrow. Leftovers, right?
Absolutely. Portion sizes also depend on your age, your gender, and the activity level or exercise of, what you're doing.
Right.
If you have a very active person, you're going to want to eat differently than someone who's not as active. I mentioned if you go out to eat, right, we said eat half your plate, right, take the rest home for another meal.
Mm-hmm.
Most restaurants have a section on the menu for lighter fares, they call them, or lighter calorie meals. So maybe order a meal. Practice mindful eating. Now, this is new, which mindfulness is actually becoming more aware of what you're eating and getting in touch with your overall senses as you're eating. So paying attention to how the food smells, paying attention to how it tastes when you're eating it. What does it feel like when you touch it? What's the texture of the food? So just being aware of all of these things before you eat, when the food's in front of you, during and after you eat, all help create awareness about the actual food that you're eating. And it actually helps you establish a healthier relationship with food.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of interesting research out there about mindfulness eating and, meditation when it comes to eating. And also the biggest thing, everybody loves food. I love food. Who doesn't? But, just try to eat in moderation.
Right.
Eat when you're hungry. Stop when you're full.
When you're full, yep.
If you want that piece of cake, you know what? I say go for that piece of cake. Mm-hmm. Eat it. Don't deprive yourself completely. But you do have to realize that what you eat is also balanced out by your activity level. So maybe if you're someone who, gets a lot of activity and goes to the gym and exercises, hey, you can afford to maybe have that extra piece of cake or extra scoop of ice cream. But if you're someone that's not as active, well, maybe you can look into, starting by just walking.
Yeah.
Even walking is great exercises. So there are a lot of ways to get yourself healthier. And all this information, actually, I found from the President's Council on Fitness, Sports, and Nutrition. And actually, the website is www.fitness.gov. So if anybody's interested in more of that information, you can go to that website. They'll tell you a lot of more information. And one more thing to wrap this up.
Yeah, I was just going to say that there's definitely a method to our madness here.
The method to the madness.
We didn't bring you just in to talk about eating right, although that was very important. But you also have a big program coming up next week, right?
I do. Yes. Yeah. We have the first ever nutrition, seminar workshop series. And it's on Mondays. It starts at 5 o'clock. There's 3 sessions. There's one March 21st, March 28th, and April 4th. And March 21st and 28th, it'll be in the rec center. And March 4th, it'll be in the South Dining Hall. At all 3 sessions, there's going to be free food. There's free giveaways. If you come to all 3 sessions, you'll get a $10 Bear Bucks gift card, free learning materials and resources, and a lot of great information on nutrition and reading a food label and, just some of what we talked about here today. But just a lot of great information out there. So if any students that you know of or if you are interested, please attend. I'm really excited for it, and I think it'll be a good turnout.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a fun event. We've been running ads. Actually, you and I voiced the ad that we've been running here on KUR for the past couple of weeks about this and getting students and everybody encouraged to attend. When is that again? When does it start?
This upcoming Monday, actually.
Monday, okay.
So March 21st is the first session.
Okay.
And then the 28th and the 4th.
Now, is there a website or a Facebook page people can get more information?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. You can go online at Kutztown University and go to the Health and Wellness Center website. And once you're on their website, it'll tell you all about it. You can even go on the Health and Wellness Center Facebook page online.
Okay.
So
everything's there.
Everything's there, yeah.
All right, well, I hope you have a great turnout for that.
All right, thank you.
Is this something new? Have you ever done this before, or is this a new event?
This nutrition seminar, yeah, it's a new event.
New event,
so
good. Well, I hope you have an excellent turnout and get people back in shape for the, because we got spring and summer coming up, and people are going to want to feel good and look good for the summer months, so that's important stuff right there. And we're kind of coming off winter, and we were probably all a little slacking too much with, being homebound with bad weather and stuff. So a fun time of year. Well, great. Thank you so much. Alyssa DeFazio, you're a grad student and a health promotions intern at the Health Center. You provided some great information to us today. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.